Hi, I'm Courtney.
Hi, I'm Diana Lee. It's nice to meet you. Why don't you go ahead and have a seat?
Oh, that's good. I was already headed for it.
Hi, what brings you here today?
It's a lot of things, but it's mostly I'm having a lot of trouble with my son. He's not even old enough to go to kindergarten yet, and it's getting to be a lot, you know?
Yeah, it can be tough when the kids are really young. So before we get started, I just wanted to go over some things with you, some standard confidentiality. So just so you know, in most cases, I will not be giving away your personal information. It won't be given out to anyone. Whatever we discuss here stays here. There are some limitations to that. It's not a complete confidentiality umbrella. We have, if you're at risk of harming others or yourself, then I have to report it. And if there's ever a court mandate for the records from our sessions, I keep typed notes of the sessions, and I'd have to give that to them. I have no choice. That's part of the law. And also, if I have some trouble being able to help you to the best of my ability, if I feel like that's not enough, then I can go to some of my colleagues and they can give me some help with how to better assist you. And so, do you have any questions about any of that?
No, I mean, that sounds pretty routine.
Okay, so let's go ahead and have a conversation about what you came to see me with here.
Okay, well, I mean, he just turned 5, and he's growing up so fast, and it's not that I feel like I'm missing what he's going through. I mean, I'm there at every baseball game. I pick him up from school. I take him to school. I volunteer in the class, and I really try to be there for him, but it's just, I share custody with his dad, and every time he goes over there, he comes back like he's a different kid. I don't know him, and he's disrespectful, and he's getting really into violence, and he doesn't play the same that he used to, and he likes to just talk back, and he's throwing things, and it's just, I'm not a bad mother. Like, I'm raising him right, and it's like he goes over there 2 days, and I don't know what his father does to him, but he just comes back, and it's just getting really hard.
Wow. So I can tell that this is really hard for you. And to me it sounds like, from your point of view, whenever you're taking care of your son, it seems like you have everything under control and it's going smoothly and you're there for him and all of his extracurriculars. But then when he goes with his dad, there's a shift in that, and that seems very distressing to you. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, I don't know if it's because his dad is a man and because I'm just mom, or if it's because he doesn't get to see his dad a lot, but it's like he listens to him more than he listens to me. And his dad left. He was the one that gave up on having a family, and I was the one who wanted to keep the baby and who wanted to be a good person. And it isn't fair. I'm working harder. It's not right that my son is going to listen to his father, but to the person who left. I'm putting in the work. I love him. And maybe it's not okay to say I love him more, but I do. I do love him more. He's my son. I carried him. And what, one weekend and everything I've taught him in months and years, it just, that's, I don't know how to process that. I don't know if that's normal.
It sounds like there's a lot of stress around this, and a thing that I keep noticing is you keep saying you're not a bad person, you're not a bad mother, you don't want to be a bad person, you stayed so you can be a good person, you want to be normal. So how do you feel right now? How do you feel about your situation? How does it feel to have your son in feeling, I might be incorrect, you can tell me if I'm incorrect, but But it almost sounds like you think he doesn't love you as much as he loves his father.
I really hope that that's not the case. But he's so young and he's growing up so fast. And what if I'm missing something? What if I'm not bonding with him? What if there's just so many unknowns and I don't know how to fix this? I don't know how to make him stop being disrespectful, stop acting out. I don't know how to keep him interested in school or in sports or how to keep him being my baby. And what if he turns into his dad? And
go ahead and take a minute. It's okay. I'll put these right here. It sounds to me like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
Well, who else is there? Who's gonna take care of him like I'm gonna take care of him? And what if he doesn't realize how much I love him?
That has to be tough.
I don't want him to grow up and I especially don't want him to grow up thinking that I haven't done my best. And I don't want to put it off all on his dad, but I know that he's never been a steady person, and what if my son does love him more and then he just lets him down again, and what kind of mother am I to let him do that again?
It sounds to me like you are putting a lot of things on yourself right now. You're afraid that your son is going to not love you as much. You're afraid that he's going to think you're not a good mother. You're afraid that he's going to turn out bad and everyone is going to think it was you who raised him, so that must be where it came from. And I feel like it sounds that you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and that can't be easy.
It's definitely come to a boiling point.
Well, let me ask you, Courtney, what do you do to take care of yourself? Because you tell me a lot about what you do to take care of your son, but what do you do to take care of yourself?
Oh my goodness. I don't know. I've spent so much time being a mother, I don't know how to be a person. But how can I be a good mother if I can't be a person?
You have a lot of emphasis on being a good mother. But to me it's starting to sound like you don't think very highly of yourself. Regardless of being a mother or not being a mother, the fact that you say, how do I even be a person, to me sounds like you don't value yourself even that much as a person. Is that anywhere close to how you feel?
I think it's been really easy to ignore. I mean, being a single mom, there's not a lot of time for any kind of thinking about yourself, and maybe I haven't been looking at me because I don't like what I see, and because of what happened with my ex, and I maybe, you know, maybe it changed me, and maybe I'm running a little bit, and I need to be a good mom because maybe I wasn't good enough for him to stay, that I couldn't turn him into a father, and I mean, he turned me into a mother, but...
Do you want to talk about a little more about what happened with him? I know you mentioned that he left close to when you conceived him or close to when he was born. Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
I mean, we knew each other for a really long time. I mean, we grew up in the same neighborhood, our houses were always really close, and we hung out so much, like, everybody assumed that we were already together, so, I mean, we dated for a while, and it was nothing serious. I mean, we weren't dating anyone else, but we told ourselves it wasn't anything serious, because we were kids, and we saw how our parents ended up when they were young and stupid and pregnant, and we didn't want to be like that, and then we were like that, and when I told him, it was like he was a different person. He got angry, and he yelled, and he said it was my fault, and that I planned it, and I had dreams too. I wanted to go places and do things, and I wanted to travel, and I wanted to go to school, and I wanted. And he got to do what he wanted to do, and after my parents found out I was pregnant, they said I couldn't go to school, that I had to have a job because I had a baby to think about, and they pressured me about getting married, but he was totally out of the picture, and who was I supposed to marry if not my baby's father? And I just got a little lost, I guess.
It must have been a lot to handle.
Yeah, I mean, I was 16 at the time, and it ages you, I guess, but but that was the life I chose, and I chose that for myself, and I have to own that. I have to accept that that's what I chose, and that's why I have to be a good mother, because I picked this. I didn't go to school, and I didn't do maybe the things that I really, really wanted to do for all of my life, but I have a son, and he's what I have now, and he has to turn out right, because what else do I have?
So to me it sounds like there's a lot going on right now, and you put a lot of pressure not only on yourself, but on your relationship with your son, on him wanting to have a relationship with a man who didn't want a relationship with you. And there's something else that I noticed that you said, which was you said you didn't want to be like your parents because they were stupid when they were your age, so you didn't want to be like them. So do you think that you ever resented your parents a little bit for having you at a young age?
I mean, it was hard. They worked a lot of the time, and when they weren't working, they were fighting, and it was hard to see as a kid. I mean, they missed a lot of stuff, and it wasn't their fault. I mean, part of it was I never told them because I was embarrassed of them, and I don't want my son to be embarrassed of me just because I was young, and just because he wasn't planned. I don't want him to feel like he was a mistake. I mean, he was a different path that I didn't want, but I love him, and I can't love him less just because I didn't plan on it. That's not fair to him, and I can't.
So it sounds to me like you think that because you also had a child young, same as your parents, I recognize that you said you ended up being exactly like them because they had you young and you had your child young, and you did have some resentment and some embarrassment towards your parents. So do you think that maybe a lot of the pressure that you put on yourself to be a good mother so that your son doesn't feel like that about you is because you feel that he's going to feel about you the way you felt about your parents?
And who would blame him?